Hello everyone, welcome back to Coach Craig Sports. This is Thursday, so we're going to be doing the DFS value picks for DraftKings. So in this episode, we'll be talking about some guys that I like this week, specifically on DraftKings. If you guys play on a different DFS site, just keep these guys in mind, see how they're priced out on your site. I know some sites' prices will vary. We'll start off with the quarterback position, and typically I like to look at guys that are under $6,000 here this week that could pay off. First off, we got Phillip Rivers, $5,900. Goes against the Raiders this week, who have a pretty poor defense overall. Rivers has been playing a little bit better. He's got a pretty easy schedule right now, so he definitely could pay off for $5,900. Next up is Matt Stafford, $5,700. Goes against Green Bay this week. While Green Bay doesn't have the easiest pass defense, Stafford should have to throw the ball quite a bit in this game. Definitely has a lot of upside, especially coming off of what he did last week. And $5,700 is pretty much a steal for him at this price. Then we got Mitchell Trubisky, $5,600. Goes against my Houston Texans, who cannot stop anything on defense right now. And they're without Bradley Roby, like I've been saying. And Philip Gaines missed practice yesterday, so this could be very rough for them in the cornerback department. Look for Trubisky and Allen Robinson to have a pretty good day. Then we got Andy Dalton in a revenge game against the Bengals for $5,500. The Bengals defense isn't anything spectacular, so Dalton could have a pretty solid game. Then we got Mike Glennon against the Titans. Titans defense has been awful against the pass, especially recently. Glennon comes in at $5,100. Definitely could be a steal there. Then we got Drew Lock, goes against Carolina this week. Should be a pretty good matchup as well. If he starts to play better, if this is a good game for Drew Lock, $5,100 is definitely a steal. Last but not least, I got my buddy Jalen Hurts, $5,100. And he's kind of the wild card this week. He does play the Saints defense that is very good, but he's got that dirt cheap price, and he has the rushing upside as well. And then we'll get moved over to the running backs, though. And with the running backs, we got Wayne Gallman, $5,700 against Arizona. And Arizona's been all right against the run. They've been kind of hit or miss throughout the season. Gallman's been playing pretty well. If Daniel Jones isn't back, they're going to lean on him a little bit more. Then we got Myles Gaskin, $5,600. It was nice to see him come back last week. Nice to see him shoulder the load. Part of that might have been because a lot of the running backs were missing. But it looks like he's going to be the main guy once again. Goes against Kansas City this week. They're going to have to run the ball to keep up in this game or to keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands, whichever way you want to say it. So he could definitely be a value there, catching passes out of the backfield as well. Then Melvin Gordon comes in at $5,200, which actually seems really cheap for him. Obviously, he had a great game last week. He goes against Carolina this week. They struggled on run defense earlier in the year. They've been a little bit better in recent weeks, but still a pretty good matchup for him overall. Then we got J.D. McKissick. Antonio Gibson's out with that toe injury now, or he's likely to be out with that toe injury, I should say. And McKissick's $4,900. He'll see the pass catching work. San Francisco's been pretty good against running backs, but not as much against pass catching running backs, so he definitely could have some value there. Ty Johnson comes in at $4,700. Goes against the Seahawks, who got torched by Wayne Gallman last week. If Frank Gore's out, $4,700 for Ty Johnson could definitely be a value. We'll mention Peyton Barber too, $4,400 for a guy that's probably going to get 15 touches. Isn't bad by any means. He definitely needs touchdowns to be worth it in DFS though. So if he's not getting that against San Francisco, he's not going to be worth it. But there is a high, kind of high risk, high reward type thing there with him. Then we got Philip Lindsay, like I said with Melvin Gordon. He's got a great matchup as well. Lindsay had 14 carries last week. I know his knee's kind of bugging him a little bit still. So that probably limited him a little bit there. Hopefully it's a little bit better this week, but $4,300 definitely could be a value. I'll talk about Frank Gore as well against Seattle, and he's in concussion protocol right now. Obviously, I mentioned Ty Johnson above, but if Gore plays for $4,000, he could definitely be a value as well. Then we got, last but not least, I got Jeff Wilson Jr. He comes in at $4,000, goes against Washington. Not the best matchup in the world, but he did see more snaps than Raheem Mostert last week, and he's been getting that goal line work. So if he gets a touchdown, if he gets 60 yards and a touchdown, he definitely could be worth it for $4,000. Then at wide receivers, we're looking at guys that are $5,000 or less, and we got a lot of guys that are kind of towards the high end of that price point. So Allen Lazard, $5,000 against Detroit. He's been kind of working his way back up to that number 2 role. Definitely a good matchup for him. $5,000, he could definitely pay off, especially if he scores a touchdown. Kiki QT, obviously had a great game last week. He's $5,000 as well. Goes against the Bears this week. And the Bears struggled a little bit last week against Marvin Jones and company, so QT could definitely have a good game. Then we got Cole Beasley against Pittsburgh, $5,000 as well. And he's really played well when John Brown has not played this year. So he's definitely another guy to consider. I will mention Jalen Reagor for the Eagles, $4,400 against the Saints. It's probably a fair price. Be interesting to see what he does with Jalen Hurts on the field now, though. Probably a little bit riskier pick than some of these other guys that I'm going to mention, though. And then I got Tim Patrick, $4,200. I do not know how this man is $4,200 on DraftKings. All he does is put up double-digit points, so $4,200 against Carolina should be a good matchup for him. He's definitely a guy you want to go after. Anthony Miller, $3,900, goes against the Texans. I kind of talked about them with Trubisky, how bad their cornerbacks are right now. $3,900, he definitely could have a good game. Then we'll move down to Chad Hansen, also for the Texans, also goes against the Bears, $3,900. He's a guy that I have liked for a while. He got his chance last week, and if he's able to do anything like that again, $3,900 is going to be a steal. Then Brashard Perriman against Seattle. Obviously, Seattle struggled against the passing game. Perriman's kind of that big play wide receiver for the Jets. Denzel Mims has been dealing with a lot of personal issues, so there's a chance that he ends up missing this game, but we'll just have to keep an eye on that. But Perriman, $3,900. Definitely someone to consider. Then we kind of talked about Mike Glennon before. We're going to talk about one of his wide receivers. That's Colin Johnson. He's a big guy, 6'6", 6'7". He's real lean. He's kind of awkward looking, but he's played more in the last 2 weeks. He saw 6 targets last week, $3,600 against Tennessee. Could be definitely a good matchup. If you want to try to stack him and Mike Glennon, you can do so for dirt cheap. This one's actually really interesting, especially coming off last week. Cordero Patterson, $3,600 against the Texans. The Texans have struggled on run defense. If Patterson puts up numbers like he did against the Lions last week, especially in that running game, he could definitely pay off as a wide receiver for $3,600. I'll mention Quintez Cephas, $3,200, goes against Green Bay this week. Marvin Hall was cut last week. Mohamed Sanu and Danny Amendola still got more run than Cephas, but if he gets involved in this game, if they want to test him out a little bit, see what the rookies got, he definitely could pay off. Then Greg Ward, once again, they go against the Saints. He showed pretty good chemistry with Jalen Hurts, so $3,100 for him is almost a steal, I'd say. Then I got Mohamed Sanu. I kind of mentioned him last week, and that was more if Amendola didn't play, but he did play on 59% of snaps, comes in at $3,000. You know, that's the floor for wide receivers, so he definitely could have some upside in this game. Then we'll mention 2 Panthers wide receivers that are pretty much dart throws, Brandon Zalstra and Farrell Cooper. DJ Moore tested positive for COVID, so it looks like he won't be playing. Curtis Samuels was a close contact, so obviously he's got to have so many days of negative tests to be able to play on Sunday as well. Both those guys would be out. One of these 2 guys is going to play a lot, and they could definitely have some value. On the opposite side of that game, we got KJ Hamler for $3,000 again. You know, he's just a dart throw, but he's a guy that could come up with a big play pretty much at any given point in the game, so definitely someone to consider. Then we'll move over to tight ends. Zach Ertz is the first one I got up. $3,700, goes against the Saints. Not the best matchup in the world. Ertz is kind of coming back. He's probably somebody I'm more interested in next week, but he could have some value in this game as well. Dalton Schultz, probably one of my favorites. Obviously, he goes against the Bengals this week. Great matchup there. $3,500, definitely a good price. Then we got Tyler Eifert, $3,100. I mentioned him last week. Glennon seems to like throwing to him. He goes against the Titans. Pretty good matchup as well. Definitely could pay off there. Cole Kmet, somebody I did mention last week. Somebody that if you did play him, he did pay off last week. He only bumped up to $2,900. He still has a good matchup against the Houston Texans, so definitely somebody you could take advantage of once again. Jordan Akins, he didn't pay off last week, but the Bears have kind of struggled against tight ends, so this could be a game for him. Then, kind of like what we were talking about with the Panthers earlier, Ian Thomas, $2,500. I know he hasn't done like anything all year. But if DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel are out, Christian McCaffrey, if he doesn't play now that he's got this thigh injury, he definitely could pay off as well. If you're looking at that Christian McCaffrey injury, if he doesn't play, then obviously Mike Davis is in play once again, though. Then we'll move over to the defenses for DFS this week. First off, I got the Eagles, $2,200. They have a pretty good defense. I know everybody's on the Saints bandwagon, but Taysom Hill has made mistakes. Taysom Hill's been fumbling. He's made turnovers. If the Eagles can get some of those turnovers, they could pay off for $2,200. That would be a steal. Then I got the Falcons defense at $2,400. Obviously, Justin Herbert looked human last week. Falcons defense is playing better since Raheem Morris has took over as the head coach. So if that continues, if they can get some turnovers, they could definitely pay off for $2,400 as well. Then I can't believe that we're pretty much saying this, but the Cowboys defense, as bad as they've been all year, they play against the Bengals this week. The Bengals are without their top offensive lineman, Jonah Williams. Definitely could be a game that the Cowboys could get some sacks, put some pressure on Brandon Allen, and create some turnovers. Then I got the Giants against the Cardinals. If the Giants can get out in front early in this game, if they can slow Kyler Murray down, if they can get pressure on him, this could be a long day for him, and the Giants could definitely put up some points. Then last but not least, we got Seattle. They play the Jets, obviously. The Jets are the worst team in the league, so definitely a matchup you want to consider there. $3,000, not a bad price by any means. But with that being said, these are my value picks for DFS on DraftKings for this week. If you guys have any other questions about DFS picks, anything like that, just let me know down in the comments. If you have any other questions regarding fantasy football at all, just feel free to reach out to me, whether it's down in the comments, at my email, CoachCraigSports@gmail.com, on Twitter at CoachCraigSport, or on the Coach Craig Sports Facebook page. But with that being said, if you guys liked and enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. It helps build the community that we are trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports. And that's one for you, the viewers, helping you with your fantasy football teams, helping you be more successful in fantasy football, helping you enjoy it more as well. If you are new or current subscribers yet to do so, also be sure to hit that notification bell. Let you know every single time I post up a new video. Like I've been saying, I post up about 5 videos a week. And be sure to check out the video that will be out tomorrow at some point, and that's going to be the one where I talk about the position players that would be the emergency quarterbacks options for each team, kind of like Kendall Hinton was for the Broncos a couple weeks ago. I think that will be a great video, definitely one you guys will want to check out. And with that being said, that's all I got for today's video. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed. Hopefully you all do pretty well in DFS and win some money this week. And with that being said, I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day.